I, 18F, have been in a pretty bad feud with my mother, 48F, for a bit now. I used to be very close to my mother. Recently, more so that I've gotten into a prestigious program where I get to study overseas. However, recently, I feel that the feud we've currently found ourselves in is so unnecessary and demeaning that I can't help but feel as though I am the one to blame. It all started when my boyfriend, 19M, of well over a year now, came to our house out of nowhere to surprise me with a pizza, flowers, and plushies, as he believed my period had started due to an app he tracks me on. He came out of nowhere, and I was very much delighted to see he had taken time out of his day to do this for me. As always, I spent around 20 minutes outside the house talking to him before bidding him farewell, and was surprised to see my younger brother, 14M, standing in the kitchen with a pizza slice in his mouth. I chuckled at first, as I assumed he was pretty hungry, and made a passing lighthearted remark about how he could have just asked me without stealing it. As I came closer, however, excited to eat the pizza that I had left on the kitchen bench, I was horrified to see the sight before me. 3 slices. He had eaten everything and left me nothing but 3 slices. At first, I didn't really know what to say, so a laugh came out in disbelief. Yet, some sort of sad feeling started to settle in for a few reasons. 1. I had actually been talking about this pizza for a long time, and my boyfriend knew how much this particular meal meant to me, as it became an inside joke between the two of us for the last few weeks prior to his visit, and he wasn't able to treat me until now. 2. This was something that my boyfriend took time out of his day to give me had just been demolished by someone who it was not meant for, and lastly, the fact that my 2 parents sat there at the dining table, watched, let, and possibly even encouraged him to eat something that was not his felt like a wave of betrayal to me. I asked my parents why they let him, and they only said things in reply like, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll just buy you a new one." Or, "Don't make this a big deal, it's just food." But if I were to dissect the story a little bit more deeply, I could assure you that my issues are rooted deeper than the non-existent pizza before me. Growing up, my parents, my mother especially, always instilled in me, more so than my younger brother, that food is a commodity that should not be fought over, as there will always be more of it. This is a pretty fair thing to teach your children, as we do live in a first world country, and I'm sure she did not want us to fight over such minor things to that degree. However, growing up, it just started to feel wrong that she was only enforcing such an inhibition onto me, more so than my brother. For example, due to such a teaching as the older sibling, I developed a mindset that was very much submissive and giving and arguably more considerate than my brother's. If my mother cooked a meal or bought food that my brother could not eat as he was out that night, my mom would always tell me, "Save some for your brother," and so I did. This eventually leaked forward into my current life, where I even found myself buying extra food for my brother even if he wasn't there, and I was out with my friends. This sort of behavior was never reciprocated, however. I would come home late due to school excursions or outings with other people to see empty KFC boxes in the bin, or pictures on social media where my family had gone out to a fancy restaurant without me, and I'd ask them if they'd bought or saved any for me, and the answer was always no. My mom would buy 2 of the same item, and my brother would mark his name all over his, and my mom would find it funny, but if I ever dared pulling a stunt like that, then I'd get a huge scolding. With that same item, I'd leave my unnamed one to eat for later, and when later came, it was all eaten but a bite left, and my brother's reasoning was that I had not named it whatsoever, and my mother told me to not bother getting mad, as new ones can always be bought. I hope you're starting to see a pattern here. It was disheartening to see, however, due to the fact that my own personal choice of behavior and mindset was quite different to his, and I felt that I was sacrificing so much as the older sibling when in fact, none of the same consideration was being thought for me. That day passed, however, until this week, when my boyfriend came by again to drop off a very special package. I had my final English exam on Tuesday, and here in Australia it's a very huge deal as it is a leading prerequisite to get into university, so you could only imagine my nerves. On the evening before the exam, my boyfriend dropped off a package that included Powerade bottles, so I could stay hydrated and refreshed during the exam period, vitamin tablets, biscuits and sweets, protein bars, my favorite instant noodles. All items to help me study better and to keep my morale up in my last stretch of my high school education. A very considerate gift indeed. He had even packed it all neatly in a big red bag with tissue paper adorning the sides and a personalized note to go with it all. I felt like a very lucky girl to have someone on my side during this time. I want to go and show my mother what he'd given me once he had left, and she started off by saying, "Wow, he really loves you," and the like, and I thought she was actually happy for me until, "Make sure to give some to your brother, though." Oh, what's that look for? You can't eat all of that anyway. You'll get fat.
And here my heart sank.
I think I managed to mumble out an agreeable reply before going to sleep that night, as the exam was the next day. Part 2 is next. Sorry, it's like 4 a.m. where I am.